Hello everyone, welcome to the session on Vocabulary 101. Vocabulary is a very important area when you consider any competitive exam, especially placement examinations. Several types of vocabulary questions such as synonyms, antonyms, analogies, fill in the blank. A host of vocabulary questions are asked in your various placement examinations, in various competitive examinations. This is also one of those areas which has been a big headache for students because there are just so many words. How do you understand? How do you know the meaning of so many words? Do you mug up? No, because that's not possible and that's not practical and that's not suggested. Then how do you know the meaning of these words? Yes, reading helps. Listening helps. Watching movies, watching television shows, watching the news helps. But to what extent? We might know the meaning of the word today. We might learn the meaning of the word today. But how do we retain the meaning of the word? This is also very important. Retention. 1 week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks down the line. How do I remember the meaning of the word? Okay, so someone says use the word. Fine. Okay, I'm supposed to use the word. So today I see the word supercilious. I don't know what's the meaning of supercilious. I look into the dictionary. The dictionary tells me that the meaning of supercilious means to be arrogant. Okay, think that you're superior to others. Think that you are, others are inferior to you. Fine. Okay, I know the meaning of the word supercilious. Now I have to use it. Okay, so next time I'm having a fight with my friend, I tell my friend, I think you're being supercilious. Your friend is probably going to think you're paying him a compliment, super something. You cannot do that because see, the purpose of language is to make the other person understand. Now, if I use words like supercilious, I know the meaning of it because I'm preparing for these examinations. My friend may not know the meaning of the word and that defeats the purpose of communication altogether. Then how do we understand, retain the meaning of the words? Usage is not all the time possible. Mugging up is definitely a no-no and out of the way. It's out of question. Then how do I know the meaning of these words? Well, luckily for us, we do have Quan Masters and we do have a very easy technique, guys, which is called as the RPS method. Okay, so let's look into this, guys. Let's delve into the entire world of vocabulary. So once again, everyone, welcome to the session. My name is Ritu and I will be taking you through Vocabulary 101 and making this area from a weakness to a strength. So come on, let's see how can we do that. Okay, let's talk about TCS NQT first. As I said, vocabulary is a very important area when it comes to any competitive exam, and TCS NQT is not an exception. When it comes to the verbal ability section of TCS NQT, you will see that these are the areas which you're questioned on. You have questions on vocabulary, which includes questions on synonyms, antonyms, analogies, odd one out, one word substitution, various types of vocabulary questions. We have reading comprehension, passages. Again, very important area, guys. How to manage the time, how to achieve 100% accuracy in reading comprehension is also something which we would be looking at. So watch out this space for more. Sentence correction, error identification, all your parts of speech, nouns, pronouns, verbs, adverbs, sentence correction relating to prepositions, conjunctions, subject-verb agreement, active voice, passive voice. The list goes on and on and on. Sentence completion, fillers of all types, closed text, closed passages, sentence rearrangement, para jumbles, phrasal verbs and idioms. These are the areas which you're questioned on in TCS NQT. We have to prepare for all of these areas, but the main problem that comes in, guys, is the timing. We have so many questions, but our time is limited. Reading comprehension, how do we read the passages and answer the questions within the given time frame? Sentence correction and error identification, there are so many parts of speech. Correct. Now, there are so many parts of speech, so how do we know which part of speech the error could be from? Para jumbles, how do we know which is the opening sentence? How do we know which is the closing sentence? How do we know how to form subsets and how to form pairs? Phrasal verbs and idioms, there are hundreds of idioms and we are no Shakespeare. So how do we go about this? Well, luckily for you guys, all of this, you can easily understand all of these areas, ace all of these areas, achieve 100% accuracy in all of these areas. 24 questions from verbal ability in 30 minutes. It is not going to be a threat anymore for us. This challenge, we're going to convert it into our strength only with the help of Quant Masters. Okay, so you do not have to worry, guys. You just have to focus on the tips, on the techniques, on the strategies, on the shortcuts. Who said verbal cannot have shortcuts, right? Verbal can also have shortcuts. So let's look at this, guys. Today our focus will be mainly on vocabulary. Now, guys, I have a little bit of a short quiz for you. Okay, so before we talk more about this, before I take you through the beautiful world of the roots, prefix and suffix, let's have a look at a couple of questions, and I want you to assess your performance in each of these questions. Okay, so there are questions going to come on your screen on synonyms, antonyms, odd one out. I want to see how many of these questions you're able to answer. What is your accuracy and within how much time? Okay, so the first question on your screen is a synonym question. When I say synonyms, synonyms are words which have the same or similar meaning. Okay, same or similar meaning. So the word in front of you is doleful. Synonym: euphoric, amicable, anarchist, melancholic. What's the answer? Okay, hopefully all of you have made a mental note of it or have written down your answer. Okay, I'll take you through to the next question. Come on. Ambivalent, unclear, indecisive, unambiguous, vague, ambivalent. There's no sentence to help you out. You cannot judge the meaning from the context. It's just the word here. What is it? Unclear, indecisive, unambiguous, vague. Okay, hopefully, guys, the question is not unclear. Hopefully, you've got the right answer. We'll look into it. Don't worry. Let's go to the third question. Malediction, curse, hostility, blessing, warmonger, malediction. Hopefully you fared better in this question, guys, compared to the previous two questions. Come on. Malediction. Antonym. You're looking for an antonym. Very important to look at the directions, guys. Antonym. Opposites. Anti. Megalomaniac. God, looks like a big word, doesn't it? Megalomaniac. Opposite of megalomaniac. Proud. Modest. Hubristic. Never heard of it before. Vain. What is megalomaniac and what could be the opposite of megalomaniac? Okay. Odd one out questions. Come on. 4 words are given. 3 words are similar in nature. They belong to a related group. 1 word over here is the odd one out. Which one is that? Chlorophobia, melanophobia, leukophobia, hydrophobia. Now I know phobia, but all of these are phobias. What could be the odd one out then? Come on. Philanthropy, beneficence, bibliophile, magnificence. Now you must be thinking I'm giving you these big words just to tease you, but no, guys. These are very commonly asked words, especially if you go through all the previous year's papers of the exams that you're vying for. You will see that these are very commonly used words. And as a test taker, we are supposed to know the meaning of these words, supposed to know the usage of these words. Odd one out. Hopefully you're not feeling like the odd one out here. Okay. Maybe you must have got, guys, if you've looked at all of these words, we have to also understand that, yes, we need to answer these with 100% accuracy, but within 30 seconds. Each question in vocabulary should not take you more than 30 seconds. Now, if this is the expression on your face right now, don't worry, guys. This expression will go from a sad, worried, anxious look to a smile in no time. Why? Because vocabulary can also be comprehended. Vocabulary can be aced with a technique which is called as the roots, prefix and suffix technique. The RPS technique, what it's popularly known as. Now, some of you might have been introduced to the world of RPS before, but those who have not been introduced to the world of RPS before, or those who do not have a complete knowledge of the world of RPS before, don't worry guys, I will be taking you through it in detail, and don't worry. After this, after you learn this technique guys, you'll be like, vocabulary, I've got it in my pocket. Correct? So let's look at this guys. What exactly is roots, prefix and suffix? Now, when you look at English, English is not a pure language. Okay, English is a mixture of different languages. If I ask you which languages, you would Spanish, Greek, Latin, French, any language. Guys, you have a lot of words in English which are borrowed from Indian languages. These are some of the borrowed words in English from Indian languages. Bungalow, bangle, juggernaut, punch, avatar, dacoit, jungle, chutney, guru, mantra. There are hundreds of words which have been borrowed by English from Indian languages. Let me give you a simple example. Let's look at juggernaut here. Juggernaut, okay, bungalow I know comes from Bangla, bangle comes from Bangri, punch comes from Panch, avatar, dacoit we know comes from Dakati, jungle, okay, we know the word jungle, juggernaut. Now guys, this is very interesting. Juggernaut, if I say it's a juggernaut statue, juggernaut means something which is huge, which is colossal, which is powerful, which is influential. Why and how? How is it related to huge? How is it related to powerful? How is it related to... Because juggernaut comes from the word Jagannath. Now, when we say Jagannath, yes, Lord Jagannath. When we say Jagannath, Jug means world, Nath means Lord. So put them together. When we say Jagannath, it basically means Lord of the world. So when you say Lord of the world, a supreme power, something which is huge, something which is powerful, something which is colossal. Interesting, isn't it? So English, because it is a mixture of all the other languages, our work becomes really easy now. So do you need to know Latin, French, Spanish? No, you don't need to know that. Guys, all we need to know is a handful of important root words, and a vocabulary is sorted for us. Okay, let's look at this, guys. Come on, let's look at this, and I will take you back through those questions again. And trust me, after this short exercise, you would be able to sail through those questions. So let's look at an example of root words. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of examples, guys, and let's start with an easy one. Monarchy. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to break down the word into its parts. Now, if we know the meaning of the parts, we would be easily able to figure out the meaning of the whole. Let's look at mon. Now, when I say mon, mono. Okay, and when I say arc, okay, monarchy. Mono plus arc. Now, we all know that mono means one. And we all know that Queen Victoria is the longest surviving monarch. She's a monarch. She's a single ruler. Arc means rule. So when you put them together, mono means one, arc means rule. So mono becomes one ruler or a single ruler. So when I say a single ruler, that basically translates to what? It translates to a king or a queen. So we know the meaning of the parts, we've figured out the meaning of the whole. So this is a root word, this is a root word. You put the two root words together, you get the meaning of the word. Okay, let's look at more examples. Now that we know arc means rule, why don't we have a look at words like patriarchy? Come on, let's look at the word patriarchy. Now, when I say patriarchy, you say this society, a society is a patriarchal society. Patri, paternal grandfather. Matriarchy, maternal grandfather. Now we know, guys, I'm sure all of you are getting now what I'm hinting at. Patri and matri, father and mother, paternal and maternal. So when I say patriarchy, arc is rule, correct? Arc is rule, patri is father, matri is mother, male and female. So if you say it's a patriarchal society, it's a male-dominated society. And if we say it's a matriarchal society, it's a female-dominated society. So we know patri, we know matri, we know arc, we know mono. Therein, you've covered 4 root words. So now, if I get, okay, let's take other words as well. Now, arc means rule. Okay, India is a democracy, correct? India is a democracy. So when I say India is a democracy, ruled by whom? Who rules India? People. So when we say democracy, democracy means people's rule. Okay, so I know demo means people and I know cracy means rule. Now let's put them together. Of the people, for the people, by the people, democracy is people's rule. Now let's take cracy and suppose I give you the word autocracy. It's just a web of words, guys. It's just a beautiful web of words. When I say autocracy, what is auto? Auto means self, automatic washing machine. Auto means self, cracy means rule. Again, we put them together. Autocracy is one-man rule. Dictatorship, Hitler was an autocrat. Okay, so crazy is rule, auto is self. What else? I need more examples, right? Now this becomes a sort of a game for you, everyone. It's just like solving a crossword puzzle. Let's take demo. What is the situation that we are experiencing right now? Pandemic. Now, when we say demos or demic, it means people. Pan. I'm sure all of you have looked at the view in your phone, the panoramic view. The offices of the country are located pan-India. Pan, all over India. So pandemic, all people. Something that's affecting all people. Something that's affecting everyone. Something that's spread across the world would be called as a pandemic. Now I know pan. Let's see pan. One more word from pan. Let's say pantheist. Okay, who's a pantheist? Theist. Who's a theist? Theist is a person who believes in God because theo means God. Pan means all. So pantheist means someone who believes in all gods, someone who believes in all religions. Okay, what if you believe only in one God? Then you would be called as a monotheist, right? Mono means one, so it's a circle, guys, and you will end up combining various root words and understanding the meaning of the words. Now just look at the slide in front of you and you've done 10 root words already. Mono, one. Ark, rule. Patri, father. Matri, mother. Demo, people. 5 done. Auto, self. Pan, people. Theo, God. Pan, all people. Theo, God. Right. Now let's look at 2 more, guys. Why stop? We've said 10. We'll reach 10. Now, what if you do not believe in any God? You do not believe in any religion. You'll be an atheist. Why? Because means no. Therein lies the beauty of root words. Therein lies the beauty of root words. You can basically get to know the meaning of any word just by breaking down the words and figuring out the meaning. Okay, let's look at more example, guys. I'm sure you're all interested now. Bene and mal. Now I know mal. I know a word from bene. What is a word from bene? Benefit. I know benefit. I know mal, corruption, malpractice. I know the meaning of malpractice. Now bene means good, right? Benefit is advantage. Bene means good. Mal means bad. When you say malpractice, it's a bad practice. It's a harmful practice. Now, whenever I come across words from bene and mal, then I'll be able to piece it together. How will I be able to piece it together? Let's look into it. Now, for example, a doctor says, don't worry. It's a benign tumor. The doctor says, worry. It's a malignant tumor. Benign and malign. Opposites, good and bad, harmless and harmful. You're a benevolent person. Never heard of this before, never used the word before. But ma'am, I can figure out the meaning of the word. Why I can figure out the meaning of the word? Because I know bene and mal. Bene is good. Mal is bad. If you're a benevolent person, you're a good person. If you're a malevolent person, you're a bad person. You're a kind person. You're a cruel person. You're a generous person. You're a wicked person. Bene and mal. Good and bad. You're a bona fide citizen of the country. Good, genuine, real, authentic. Malified. Bad, insincere. Bene and mal, good and bad. It gets more interesting. Ami, you went on a trip with your amigos. My amigos are my friends. So I know ami means friend. Any word. Look at it. Amiable, amicable, amity, amorous. Don't have to worry about the meaning anymore. I know that all of these are related to friend. You are a very amiable person. You're a very friendly person. It was an amicable divorce. It was on friendly terms. Lot of amity between the colleagues, friendship between the colleagues. All of these words revolve around ami, which means friend. Let's look at another example. Ambi. Okay, what is common between Mahatma Gandhi and Einstein? Apart from them both being great personalities, they were both ambidextrous. Ambidextrous, a person who can use both hands equally well, who's skilled in both hands. Ambi means both. Right, so now I know that ambi means both. So if I'm ambivalent, should I go out today? Should I not go out today? Should I buy this shirt? Should I not buy this shirt? Should I invest in this company? Should I not invest in this company? Should I take up this job? Should I not take up this job? I'm ambivalent. I'm both. I'm not able to decide. So ambivalent is someone who is unsure. Ambiguous. How is it different from ambiguous? Ambiguous. You go to a doctor. Guys, the doctor writes a prescription. Who is going to read this? Only the chemist? Because the doctor's writing is so ambiguous. It is so unclear. So it's also very important for us to know the differences between certain very commonly confused words. So this is the beautiful world of root words. So how does it impact your performance? Let us say you come across a word doleful. The first question said doleful. I do not know what is dole, but I've heard of the word condolence. When a person passes away, we go and offer our condolence. We express our sorrow. We express our sympathy. So dole has to do something with sad or sorrow. We figure out the meaning of the words using the root words. So now, since you've got a quick look at what root words really mean, let's revisit these questions. Come on, let's revisit these questions. Doleful, come on, I know dole means sad. I know dole means sorrow. Ami means friend. It cannot be amicable. Arc, we just now had a look at it, ma'am. Arc means rule. It cannot be related to ruler. Melancholic. Euphoric. EU means good. EU means happy. It cannot be related to euphoric. So answer option becomes melancholic. Melancholic music, sad music. So doleful, euphoric, amicable, anarchist, melancholic. The job becomes this easy. You just have to look at positive and negative connotations. Ambivalent. Ambi means both. I'm not able to choose. I'm indecisive. I'm not unclear because that's ambiguous. I'm not unambiguous. Un means not. I'm not ambi. I'm ambi. Vague is unclear, but ambivalent is not able to choose. So ambivalent becomes indecisive. Malediction. Male means bad. It means negative. So the opposite of a negative word has to be something positive. Which is the only positive word over here? There you go. Blessing. Megalomaniac. Let's break it down. Mega, big, mega highway, big highway. Mania. I'm a sports maniac, especially with the IPL going on now. I'm a sports maniac. I'm crazy about sports. I'm obsessed with sports. Megalomaniac. You're obsessed with big. You're obsessed with power. You're obsessed with status. You're obsessed with making it big in life. You're a megalomaniac. So opposite of that, this guy is really arrogant. Opposite of this would be someone who is humble, someone who is down to earth. There we go. Modest. Didn't know the meaning of hubristic? Don't care. But I know the meaning of megalomaniac, and I know its opposite has to be positive. I know it has to be modest. By the way, hubristic also means someone who is very proud. And so does Wayne. Let's come to this. Phobia is fear. Now I'm getting a hang of it. Come on, I'm really confident. Phobia is color. Chlorophyll in plants gives it the green color. Melanophobia. Melano biscuits, black color. Dark, black, melancholic, sad. Leukophobia, leukocytes, white blood cells, white. Green color, black color, white color. I'm sensing a pattern here. These are all related to colors. Hydrophobia is related to water, which is not a color. So answer option is hydrophobia. Come on, guys. Philanthropy, philanthropy, beneficence, bibliophile, magnificence, beneficence, good. Magnificence, large, good, generous person. Philanthropy, a person who loves humans, a person who loves mankind, good. Bibliophile, I just wrote a report today and I wrote a bibliography. Bibliography is something to do with books. Odd one out. Bibliophile is a person who loves books. Phil means love. Bibliophile is a person who loves books. Odd one out. Okay, it's that simple. But guys, we need to work on it together. We need to understand these root words. Let's do the math now and understand how easy it becomes. 2,500 plus words to answer in your competitive exams, to know for in your, to know in order to answer the question in your placement exams. 2,500 plus words. How am I going to go about it? Just by knowing 50 plus root words. So 2,500 words can be narrowed down to just knowing 50 plus root words. 50 root words, yes, I can do that. I just learned 15 plus root words in the class itself today. So 50 root words is completely manageable. Is it easier? 100%. 100% accuracy guaranteed. So guys, what are you waiting for? Enroll soon and let's begin our journey into vocabulary. With 100% accuracy, within the time frame, without no fuss, no mess, no headache, just with the technique of RPS method. I hope you all enjoyed the session, everyone. Thank you so much and watch out this space for more. Thank you, everyone.